Am I the asshole for speaking another language and giving my stepsister secondhand embarrassment? Here's a bit of a backstory.
I, F15, am Asian American.
My mom is Caucasian while my dad is Chinese Filipino.
I also have an older brother.
My biological dad passed away when I was young, and my mom remarried around 2022.
Now, I have an amazing dad and an older sister. My mom works corporate for a cruise company, and therefore, I don't mean to brag, but my family frequently goes on cruises.
My sister recently graduated HS, and back came home to San Francisco. She attended HS in the East Coast. And now, my family is on this amazing cruise to the Caribbean to celebrate.
Just yesterday, my sister and I were in the pool deck, and she needed to wash her hands. The ship we were on was really big, and I wasn't too familiar with the layout, so in order to locate the bathroom, I asked a kind worker for directions.
I tried to speak to her in English, but she didn't seem to understand initially.
But then I noticed the Philippines in her badge. On the cruise, the nationality of a staff member could be found in their badge, so I began talking to the lady in Filipino. My grandpa was Filipino, so he taught me. The lady and I had a short and happy conversation before eventually asking where the nearest bathroom was, and I led my sister to go there.
While we were walking, my sister told me to just speak in English, and said that Filipino is the worker's language.
Plenty of the staff on board are Filipino, and mentioned it was embarrassing for her because she said she didn't want to be associated with them. Those were her exact words.
I was shocked. I didn't know why she would be embarrassed and ashamed, but I still felt really bad. I didn't mean anything. I just wanted to speak Filipino due to my heritage, and the lady seemed to be really happy when I did so anyways. I told my sister I won't do it again, but was it really that rude to speak in another language in the West?
What do you think?
I'd tell your mom what she said though. Step-sis is racist and sees the workers as less than and speaking another language and being of the same nationality as less than. Not the asshole.
You learned something about your stepsister, and if anyone should be embarrassed, it is her.
I would call her out on her preludial, classist and, yes, racist behavior, and then downgrade the relationship if she didn't atone for her conduct. Tell her it is embarrassing to scene with her as a result.
Definitely NTA.
You made that woman happy.
I heard that when you speak a language that is not your first language to a native, you speak to their heart instead of their head.
It seems your sister thinks she is in some way better than the woman, which is ridiculous. It was also a chance for you to practice and keep the language alive in you.
Everyone won except your sister because of her unhappy comment.
Please talk to your mom about your sister's racism. Not the asshole. I was shocked. I didn't know why she would be embarrassed and ashamed. Your sister was ashamed, because she is a racist. Not the asshole. From what you've said, it sounds like West means white, so, speaking as someone that's so white their legs reflect sunlight underwater. Your sister is hella racist.
It's only rude to speak in another language when you're actively trying to exclude someone.
This was not that situation. You should tell your mom. It's disturbing that she used the word, them, like those employees are less than people. If your mom worked on the ship, I bet sister would be pissed if a wealthy Asian passenger did the reverse. Am I the asshole for kicking my son out and making him live with my brother?
My 16M son has been having a streak of bad behavior the past 3 years that I, 37M, just cannot handle anymore. For context, last year he stole my credit card and spent upwards of $150 on Call of Duty without my permission. Most recently he broke his TV in a fit of rage after being grounded, and he took my car at night to hang out with his girlfriend.
I can't take it anymore, so I sent him to my older brother who's retired military, in hopes that he could straighten him out.
This was 2 months ago. He calls me sometimes and begs me to come home, saying life is like hell over there.
He claims my brother works him to death and he has no freedom. I told him that he has to deal with the consequences of his action and to deal with it. Most recently he called my oldest son, 18M, and begged him to come home.
He asked me about it the other night, and I told him not to or he'd be in big trouble.
I came home from work a couple days ago and found both my sons in the living room. I was angry at my oldest and scolded him, kicking both of them out and sending them to live with my brother. I got a call today from my oldest begging for forgiveness, telling me the same thing his brother's been telling me for the past 2 months. I'm starting to feel bad because I don't want them living in total misery, and that's what they make it sound like. I don't know exactly what he's doing to them and it's starting to concern me, but I still don't want to let them back in and think they got off scot-free.
Am I being the asshole here? Update. In light of all the comments, I have decided to go get them from my brother's house and bring them back home and figure out what is going on over there.
Update 2. So I have the boys.
At my brother's house we had a talk.
I found out some interesting stuff. They first apologized for misbehaving. We spoke for a minute and then they got in the car. I asked my brother to tell me explicitly what happened. He told me light workouts and cleaning. When I got in the car and asked the boys,
they told me it really wasn't that bad, but they wouldn't want to go back for extended periods of time. They told me it was bad at first, but all in all working out wasn't so bad once they started.
They told me it wasn't really hell, just more than what they were used to. On the way back we had a talk about new rules and all seems to be well. I think we might at least be headed in the right direction for now. You are the asshole. Did you even have a conversation with your brother about what life will be like for your kids in his house?
How can it be that you have no idea what's happening over there?
Sounds like you just couldn't be bothered to deal with your kids yourself and just shipped them off so they would no longer be your problem.
Bring them back.
Everyone goes to therapy. Edit to remove YTA. I was a little worked up.
Dad needs support, not criticism.
You are the asshole. He claims my brother works him to death and he has no freedom.
I told him that he has to deal with the consequences. How do you know it's just a claim?
I don't know exactly what he's doing to them and it's starting to concern me, but I still don't want to let them back in and think they got off scot-free. Starting to concern you? You're farming out your duty as a parent to the point where you don't even know what's going on.
You also don't seem to have made any effort to find out why your kid's acting out. Where's their mom in all this?
Not the asshole. Seems like the not the assholes are the minority here, but your children are deliberately disobeying you and clearly have no concept of money, values-led nor respect for authority.
Sounds like their hellish life is just them losing their privilege and learning how the real world works.
There's no one perfect way to raise children.
The only suggestion is maybe talk with your brother and see how much is exaggerating and how much is actually him being too hard, because perhaps he is.
You also could allow them to come back under the conditions that they will do better. Info. What kind of rules, consequences does your brother enforce? Based on OP's answer, not the asshole.
Op, you are not the asshole.
Absolutely not.
You entrusted their care to your brother, who put them through boot camp to teach them what a disciplined life is, because they, especially the youngest, clearly have no concept of it. Breaking rules to the point of stealing your car is reckless, dangerous, and criminal.
Following that up with showing your kids what life could be like with someone who isn't so forgiving is a great life lesson. Am I the asshole for moving out of the house I share with my 2 friends and taking all of my furniture with me? I, 30 female, have lived with my 2 friends, both 30 male, for 2 years. When we initially decided to do this, we were all in a position where we couldn't afford to live on our own and decided to get a place together. It was a mutual decision and they somewhat rode on my coattails with it, as they are quite lazy. I had to arrange all the viewings, do all the admin, drive to all viewings as I am the only driver, arrange all the bills, etc., etc. Unfortunately, about 90% of the entire house is furnished with my property, as I lived with my partner before and bought everything then. The only rooms which are not are their bedrooms. I am now in a position where I can afford to live on my own, and quite frankly, I would like my own space.
The house is smelly and dirty unless I clean it. We have very different ideas of cleaning.
I am the household taxi service,
shopper, gardener, moneylender, and I am quite tired of having to look after other people.
I've got back into the dating scene now, and living with 2 guys who are always hanging around isn't great.
They said it isn't fair as they don't have any money saved up to replace the sofa, kitchen stuff, living room TV, dining room table, literally the entire house.
I told them that they should end be living paycheck to paycheck and throwing all of their money away every month. I said that I am entitled to move on with my life and they should know that this wouldn't be it for the rest of our lives. We won't be forever single and retiring together. I said I will give them a few months to put some money aside, but I will be looking after this. They said that wasn't enough time. The property is more than affordable for 2 people. They both work full-time and earn a decent wage.
AITA?
Not the asshole.
If they don't currently have money, they can find some furniture from a thrift store or a rental place. The fact that they've gotten to use your furniture for free and used you for transportation should be something they're grateful for.
Not the asshole. I want to take my property when I move out. Is a conflict now? Come on.
Not the asshole, but holy crap, you need to learn to stand your ground on things. It is wild to think that you were not only responsible for most of the furniture, but the cleaning, bills, etc. for 2 years.
Not the asshole, your friends are both 30 years old.
They need to go to Facebook Marketplace and secondhand furniture stores and furnish the place on the cheap. Give them 3 months and then move out and take all your stuff with you. Not the asshole, you are entitled to what is yours when you move, and like you told them, they should have saved their money and you are giving T5 time to do just that. They have no right to what is yours. Let them pay for their own stuff because it is past time for them to grow up and be actual adults and not petulant immature people.
Not the asshole, don't you think you have catered to them long enough? They are 30 years old. You need to stop treating them like you are their mom and they small children. As of right now. Sure, they will be mad and whine, but again. They are 30 years old. The furnitures are yours.
They can get their own.
Second-hand stores exist. Am I the asshole? Do I deserve a shower, even though I'm not a real mom?
I, 28F, and my husband, 29M, have been together for 8 years, married for 5.
We have been trying for children since we got married and have been struggling with infertility. We decided, after lots of therapy and private discussions, to become foster parents. We have passed all the checks and done the training and we are now licensed, yay! Our families haven't been very warm to this.
His family wanted us to have biological children. A sibling is worried about us bringing kids with issues around her kids, but our friends have been so supportive and excited for us.
My one friend, 35 female, wanted to host something akin to a baby shower for us to help us with things we would need for foster kids. Clothes, toys, books, bedding, etc. And to celebrate this chapter in our lives. Invitations were sent out and we were met with incredible backlash from both sides.
Saying things like I wasn't having a baby so I should need a shower, and if I couldn't afford to foster then I should do it, some going as far to say that I wasn't a real mother and I should be so selfish as to expect a party.
Me and my husband can more than afford it and I wasn't expecting anything.
This was something a friend had planned for me that I thought was nice.
Am I the asshole for wanting to have a nice shower even though I am not a real mom?
Not the asshole, I think this was a really sweet idea from your friend and I'm sorry you faced such backlash.
I think it might have been a little impractical since I doubt you'll have much say in what ages you get, so stocking up on clothes, toys and books ahead of time might backfire, but I bet you could come up with quite a list that's mostly useful regardless of age, gender. Car seats can support a wide range of ages, for example.
If I were in your circle I would have been happy to help. I've donated to local foster closets in the past, so this just seems like a more personal version of that.
Not the asshole. This is a nice idea. But you can clearly see who will be toxic to your future foster child, Ren. Stick to your friends, ignore this family members and best limitate contact with them. Not the asshole.
Motherhood comes from the heart, not the womb. You are a mother, a real mother, because your heart is open and full of love to share with a kid that needs the love of a mother. Keep the people that celebrate you in your journey, everyone else can go kick rocks with bare feet. Not the asshole, maybe it's a little unusual, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
They didn't have to attend or give gifts if they didn't want to. Otherwise, they should have kept their mouths shut.
If I couldn't afford to foster then I should do it.
Funny how they wouldn't say that to someone bringing a new life into the world. But you're somehow selfish for taking in children who need a home. Forget those people.
You don't need them in your life.
Not the asshole.
It takes a lot to be ready for foster kids, particularly since you're never sure exactly what ages, interests, and needs you're going to be asked to take care of.
This is a huge and wonderful thing for you to be doing, and what a kind gesture from your friend. I would simply tell everyone who thinks you shouldn't be doing this that they don't have to attend and they can keep their opinions to themselves. Not the asshole. My wife used to be state director of a foster care agency, so I know what goes into being a foster parent. A shower is definitely something foster parents appreciate.
You might end up being more of a mom to these kids than their bio mom, depending on if it is a short-term foster or a foster to adopt. If you get kids who have had a TPR done on their parents, then you definitely are going to be more of a mom to them than anyone they have had in their life before you. They may not realize that at the time, but they can look back and see how much you cared for them.